Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue with Chapter 5. In the last two videos, we studied the Bretton Woods system. From this video, we'll explore the Jamaica system. After the collapse of Bretton Woods system, the exchange rate system in most Western countries began to float. Because floating rates had seemed to function well in conditions of adversity, the governments of the industrialized countries acknowledged late in 1975 that they were prepared to live with floating exchange rates for the indefinite future. The IMF's directors met at Kingston, Jamaica, in January 1976 to approve a revision of the second IMF Article of Agreement, which covered exchange rate arrangement. Since 1976, the floating exchange rates have been legalized after the meeting in Jamaica. That's why contemporary international monetary system is also called Jamaica system. Please note, although the contemporary international monetary system is typically referred to as a floating regime, it is clearly not the case for majority of the world's developing countries. The new Article 2 implicitly endorsed floating rates by freeing each member country to choose any exchange rate system it prepared. Governments were urged to follow macroeconomic policies that would promote price stability and growth, and they will avoid manipulating exchange rates to gain an unfair competitive advantage over other members. The content of Jamaica system is, in fact, a Reformation edition of the Bretton Woods system. Reformation focused on gold and exchange rate system. The first legitimized the floating exchange rate. After the breakdown of the Bretton Woods system, the exchange rates had already begun to float. The Jamaica system enacted a legal document to admit the legality of the floating exchange rate. The second demonetized the gold. That's to say, the Jamaica system abolished the gold's official price, and the issuing banknotes would not be based on the gold reserve. The third enlarged the functions of SDRs. The member countries' share of SDR in IMF were enlarged, so as to improve the function of SDR. The first enlarged provide of funds to developing countries to help them to solve their huge BP deficit problems. The Jamaica system was not a brand new system, but a legitimation of spontaneous system adopted by Western countries after the collapse of the Bretton Woods system. Still, the Jamaica system had its own characteristics that was very different from the Bretton Woods system. One is diversification of the international reserve system. Diversification is reflected in the following aspect. US dollar would be still the key currency, main international payment means and style of value, but it is not the single international currency and reserve currency. Euro would be a strong competitor for US dollar and have become an important currency used in international trade and a reserve currency. The function of SDR would be strengthened since the share of member countries had been enlarged. The position of gold as an international reserve asset would decrease, and gold was not a medium of payment, but a common good, and its price was decided by the market. 2. Its diversification of BP adjustment mechanism, neither automatically adjusted like the gold standard, now compulsively adjusted like the Bretton Woods system. Under Jamaica system, both two ways of automatically adjustment and compulsively adjustment under governmental policies can be used in adjusting the imbalance. 3 is various arrangement of exchange rate system. Different countries and areas are allowed to adopt different systems. Won't force all member countries to adopt one single system. The advantage of Jamaica system is obvious. The first, diversification of international reserve system resolved the Triffin paradox. Dollar, euro, SDR, as well as gold are all reserve assets. The second, the floating exchange rate system has changed the rigid system of exchange rate in the past. Each country can arrange its own exchange rate system according to its own situation. The third, widen the channels of BP adjustments. Automatic adjustment and governmental policies can be used cooperatively. The adjustment methods are more flexible. At the same time, disadvantages of the system is also sharp. The first, diversification of international reserve increased the instability because the increased speculation risk. The second, the exchange rates fluctuate frequently and largely, which leads to huge amount of international speculative capital flows in and out quickly. The flows of huge capital have caused chaos of interest rates, prices, and employment rates in many countries. The third, huge BP imbalance showed up. There's no adjustment mechanisms to promote countries in surplus to decrease their surplus, and the countries in deficit decrease their deficits. So, the huge imbalance can exist for a long period. In this part, we studied the Jamaica system. We reviewed the background of the system. Then we explored the content of the system, including its international reserve, BP adjustment mechanism, exchange rate system. The main characteristic is its diversification in its area content. The advantage and disadvantage are obvious. In short, compared to former two systems, Jamaica system is more flexible as well as unstable. That's all for the section. Thank you.